Good afternoon and welcome to Link. My guest today is Deborah Singletary, who is the other half of this great book I'm holding in my hand called Making What Your Means Can't Buy. Welcome, Deborah.
Oh, thank you. It's a blessing to be here.
It's a blessing. You know, you're here. And like I said before, when the time is right, it would happen. And so let's go. I introduced you as the other half of this book. Now, your sister actually did the written part and you did the illustration.
The
you published it.
Under Vision Carriers, which is a company I've been running for the past 20 years. I originally founded Vision Carriers to help support the dreams and visions of artists and other creative people. And out of that process, I created a website and then invited my sister to write a column, which we call Lunations, and then I found myself publishing a book of her writing. So I'm the publisher and I'm also the illustrator.
Now, this book it's a visual feast.
Thank you.
And it's a written
Yes, well,
feast.
It started out, Inez had written a chat book some years ago, just copy, but I found the wisdom and the counsel about living the abundant life to be great, and I began to practice some of the principles that she wrote about, and then I thought that Inez deserved to have a book. So my motivation was really at first out of love. She's been writing for over 30 years, usually for free, and I thought she needed a book. My feeling was that I did not want her to leave this planet without a book, without a published book. And at first, I thought we would go the route of finding a publisher, and then I knew I didn't want to spend all that time doing that. And my sister's a gentle Pisces, and I realized that she was unlikely to do the hustle and bustle of getting published. And so I decided that I would publish her myself. Didn't have the money to do it that I knew of, but I made a decision that I was going to publish, and then the sky opened and made it possible for that to happen. But in the process of publishing her chapbook, are you familiar with chapbooks? They're what writers sometimes, they Xerox it and fold it in half, and they'll sell it for about $10 or $15. So I took something that she had already written and decided to turn it into a book for the masses, so that more people could enjoy it. And then it was a little short, and we needed to lengthen it. And every time Inez went to add writing, it seemed as if she was writing another book. And so my webmaster, who was the designer of the book, suggested that I put my artwork in it, and I was against it because I wanted it to be all about Inez. But Inez saw the connection between making a life and making art, and we thought it was indeed a great marriage. Her words, her ideas, along with the ideas reflected in the artwork.
There's a phrase in your book, and I'm trying to remember it, but it has to do with visualizing something. Could you?
Okay, as I understand the concept, let's say I get a notice that my rent is being increased, and I start to fret and I start to worry, and I think, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Oh, I'm going to have to move. At that moment, my worry is a kind of visualization. It's also a kind of praying. So in a sense, I'm praying on the idea that I'll get evicted, that I won't have the money. And then my behavior and my actions will follow that praying, that thinking, that visualizing. So the lives that we lead on a daily basis, to the degree that we love our lives and to the degree that we do not, those lives are usually what we have visualized, often unconsciously. Because when we're worrying about our rent, for example, we think of it as a fact in our mind. When the newscasters say that the Wall Street has crashed, the economy is devastated, they immediately create pictures in our minds of disaster. And so even if there's already, let's say, the fact of a disaster, then we create more disaster by the way we respond to it. So in order to live the abundant life, and I think of living a life of abundance and prosperity is actually healing our financial issues. In order to do that, we first have to stop that preying, P-R-E-Y-I-N-G, and that P-R-A-Y-N-G, upon negative images. So when we're worrying, we're actually picturing. And making what your means can't buy encourages us to picture what we want, not what we don't want.
Hold on a second. I want you to go through some of those steps of how to do. But give me a little capsule of your visualization of this actual book.
The visualization of the book itself?
Yeah, well, how did you see it before it even happened? I mean, you didn't say, you told me what you didn't say about how getting the money.
I just know I wanted a book.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing I say is, in the creative process, is I want a book. At that moment, I don't know how. If I think about it, if I look at my checking account at that moment, I don't have the financial means. But I begin with the end in mind. The end is the book. So I start there. And then when I visualize a book, I get excited. I get turned on. And getting turned on causes me to maybe make a telephone call. And I say to somebody, hey, you know what? I've got this vision. I've got this idea to publish a book. And they say, oh, really? I'll help you do this part of it. So when I call that person, it may not have been with the idea that they were going to help, but I'm just excited, and my enthusiasm becomes a motivating force that helps the book get published. Someone told me, the designer, I call her name Cheryl Hannah, she said to me, oh, Deborah, you can publish a book, it's easy. So because she gave me the visualization that it's easy, I started the journey of publishing a book. Now, as I got into it, and then she'd say, oh, well, you know you need a barcode, and oh, you know you need this, and I'd say, wait a minute, that costs this amount of money. But I'm already in the process, so when these things come up, and I laugh, I say, you know what, if you had told me in the very beginning that I needed this and that and this, and I'd have to spend for this and that, I never would have done the book. But because her own vision of my success, and that's when it's important to be with people who are healthy thinkers, because of her vision of the success of the book, coupled with my own desire, we just kept moving forward. And did obstacles arise? Yes, but I didn't plan for those obstacles. I wasn't meditating on those obstacles, and the obstacles that did come up turned out to be guideposts. So that when there was a problem, I learned to look at the problem as the presentation of a blessing, and that it was up to me to follow that problem and get the juice out of it in order to move me further along. You know what, La-Verne, you know, I've said my sister's a Pisces. Well, I'm a Taurus. I'm very practical. I don't like to just talk about those esoteric ideas, you know, that sound mystical, but I can tell you from the practice of abundance and what I'm on a mission to share with people is that prosperity is a practice. It is not something that you do one time, and it's not something that you think 2 or 3 times. It is a lifestyle that you practice abundance. So publishing this book gave me an opportunity to practice abundance. So I saw firsthand how you could take a vision and move it from the idea to the up and running stage even